Well, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. We simply would not be able to do what we do through our Unmet Needs program without the generous support of Burger King franchisees. To date, Burger King franchise owners have donated an astounding $6 million to unmet needs. This was through their biannual fundraiser for the program. U.S. Restaurants Incorporated, which operates 32 Burger King stores, has been instrumental in the success of these fundraisers, generously contributing over $164,000 to unmet needs. This morning, we're joined by Stephen Lewis, the co-founder and president of U.S. Restaurants Incorporated. At 16 years old, Stephen began making hamburgers in Minneapolis, Minnesota, at no other place than a Burger King restaurant. Then after 3 years in the Navy, Stephen returned home and worked his way up the Burger King corporate ladder before co-founding U.S. Restaurants Incorporated in 1985. As a respected national leader among Burger King franchisees and the Burger King Corporation, Stephen has had a major impact on the growth of the annual Burger King Unmet Needs fundraising campaign. We're extremely fortunate to have an ally in Mr. Lewis and are truly grateful for his support and generosity to the Unmet Needs program. And now it's my pleasure to present him with a Certificate of Appreciation on behalf of the VFW.
Certificate of Appreciation presented to Stephen M. Lewis. In spirited recognition of his generous and dedicated support to America's veterans, service members, and their families through the VFW Unmet Needs program. Since 2014, he has been instrumental in ensuring the continued success of this assistance program, which exists to help provide relief to those experiencing financial hardships due to military service. His benevolent contributions totaling more than $164,000 are deeply appreciated and it earned him the admiration and appreciation of the veterans of foreign wars. In witness whereof we have hereunto set our hands and the official seal of the Veterans of Foreign Wars this 23rd day of July 2019, signed by B.J. Lawrence, Commander-in-Chief, and Kevin Jones, Adjutant General.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am so honored and humbled for this award. But I have to say that what I've seen this morning tells me that I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy based on everything that you folks do here at the VFW. It's really an honor for us to be able to raise funds for the Unmet Needs program. And really, quite candidly, it's really pretty easy. And why is that? I've heard it this morning from everybody who has spoke. You heard today that I was in the Vietnam War. I was in that period. I was in Westpac. My home base was Yokosuka, Japan. And we always were talking about whether or not we should be in this war, et cetera, and all the home front issues and so on and so forth. But today, we heard about Desert Storm and the difference between those two conflicts and the way that Americans perceive our military folks. Ladies and gentlemen, every single one of you in this room should be as proud as I am and I was to serve this great country. I had some really interesting times in the Navy, and I'm a proud Navy man. And it's so great. Love those Navy guys, right? I had, all of my uncles were Navy guys, World War II guys. And I want to make a shout out, if you don't mind, to the VFW Post 6316 in Blaine, Minnesota. Are they here today? Sergeant John Price, are you here? I wish you were. Because I also want to thank you at that VFW post for taking such good care of my uncle. He just got out of the hospital, and the first thing that he said to my aunt was, "I've got to get over to the post so I can get my burger and my Diet Coke. I've got to get over there and see my buddies." Now, I got to tell you something. At 83 or 84 years old, this is what that man's looking for. You do my heart very, 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 very good for doing those types of things for my uncle, and I sincerely appreciate it, believe me. What you do with unmet needs to help our servicemen with their short-term issues financially, I think we all can think back to the days when we were young and we were in the service and we had no money, we couldn't rub two nickels together. These folks are called, they're called to serve our country and leave their families and end up with some financial difficulties. All of you in here deserve such great gratitude for what you do. I thank you. It's a small thing that we do, but man, am I proud that we can do it for the VFW. And last but not least, as I look up at the board and I see our Burger King logo up there with the VFW, it brings me to an acknowledgement that I really want to make here, and that is to Mike DeRosa. I think most of you know Mike. Mike is the individual who brought the Unmet Needs program to the Burger King franchise community. It was his leadership, it was his steadfastness that has created this pool of money for the Unmet Needs program to use for our servicemen. So if you don't mind, I'd like to ask Mike to stand up, to take a bow, and I know he takes a bow probably at every one of these events. But it was Mike who did this, who started this program. And I have to tell you that getting any Burger King franchisee to do anything is not easy. But he made it easy. Great work, Mike. And then Mike also knows that I'm the guy who hired him back in 1973 in Minneapolis, which also proves the level of talent that I have in identifying good people. And with that said, I'd also like to acknowledge my wife, who is sitting here in the front row, who has been by my side for 30 plus years, and my good friend, Jim Myers from Burger King Corporation, who came out of his way to come up here today to see if I could actually talk in 3 minutes or less. But no, Jimmy, thank you for coming. It means a great deal to me. Ladies and gentlemen, I also want to announce today that I'm going to give $1,000 to the Pershing Park Commemorative World War I Museum and $1,000 to the Desert Storm program. I'm so honored to be here. I'm so lucky to be an American. I'm so lucky to have been able to serve our great country. May God bless all of you. God bless America. And let's continue to make America great again. Thank you very much.